My wife said I was controlling because I checked her location once. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I called it caring about the person who shares my mortgage and my last name. Laura called it suffocating. You need therapy, Evan, she said, deleting the app right there at breakfast. This isn't normal. She said it like she was reading from a script she'd practiced in the mirror. Calm, final, like I was the patient and she was the expert diagnosing me over coffee. I just stared at her. My spoon hung in midair. The oatmeal went cold. I teach physics. 34 years old, I grade papers until my eyes blur. I explain Newton's laws to teenagers who think momentum is what happens when their TikTok goes viral. Normal is relative. What's not normal is your wife suddenly changing her perfume from the floral scent she's worn for 6 years to something sharp and expensive. Something that smells like a tax deduction. Fine, I said, watching the little GPS icon disappear from my phone screen as she deleted the tracker. I trust you. She smiled then, kissed my forehead like I was a child who'd finally learned to share his toys. That's growth, babe. Growth. Right. 3 days later, she packed for a client retreat. Just some PR stuff. Networking. You know how it is. Her suitcase looked like she was moving to Monaco. Silk dresses, heels in dust bags, a new suitcase tag that still had the plastic on it. I didn't say anything. I've learned that silence is data collection. You don't always need to ask questions. Sometimes you just watch the answers unfold. The retreat was supposed to be local. Corporate team building at some bland hotel off the highway, the kind with gray carpets and continental breakfast buffets, trust fall exercises and fake smiles. Laura left on a Thursday morning. Her goodbye hug lasted exactly 2.3 seconds. I timed it. Force of habit. Friday afternoon, my phone buzzed. Credit card alert. Chase Sapphire Reserve, 847.92, Mountain View Resort and Spa, Colorado. Colorado, that's 247 miles from our quiet Massachusetts suburb. I checked the itinerary she'd left on the fridge, a neat white sheet printed in Calibri font, Boston Harbor Suites. 20 minutes away. I took a screenshot of the alert and texted it to her mother, Sandra. We'd always been polite. Birthdays, Christmas cards, occasional brunches. Nothing deep, but enough that I thought she'd at least pretend to be surprised. She replied 4 minutes later. Sandra, stay home. She'll figure it out. That was it. No confusion. No, what? That can't be right. Just stay home. Like she'd been waiting for this text. That's when I knew. Laura's own mother wasn't shocked. This wasn't new. This was just the first time I'd caught the coordinates. I sat in my kitchen, staring at that resort charge until the numbers blurred. It wasn't heartbreak I felt. Not really. It was colder than that. It was the quiet satisfaction of solving an equation you've been wrestling with for weeks and realizing the answer is simpler and uglier than you wanted it to be. All those late nights at client dinners. The perfume, the new phone she said was for work. The data points lined up perfectly. I pushed my chair back, the sound scraping against the tile. The kitchen felt too big, too quiet. Fine, I said out loud, to no one. You want space? Let's measure it. Monday morning, I stood in front of 27 10th graders who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. The topic was kinetic energy, motion, force, the math behind movement. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, I said, writing Newton's third law on the whiteboard. It's not philosophy, it's physics. Most of them stared blankly. One kid yawned loud enough to echo. I drew force vectors, arrows crossing each other like little battles on the board. The marker squeaked. My own voice sounded distant, like someone else was teaching through me. A hand went up in the back. Tyler, the kind of kid who never pays attention unless there's gossip involved. Mr. Grady, you okay? You seem Weird. I capped the marker slowly. I'm fine, Tyler. Just contemplating the transfer of energy in closed systems. He shrugged and went back to doodling in his notebook. If only he knew how accurate that was. Energy trapped, bouncing endlessly between walls. A closed system. That was me. At lunch, I stayed in my classroom. Most teachers went to the lounge, complained about grading or kids or the cafeteria meatloaf. I sat alone, lights dimmed, the hum of the projector filling the silence. And then I did what any rational person would do in my situation. I opened my laptop and checked our joint bank account. There they were, 3 charges from the airline. 2 round-trip tickets, purchased the same day she left. Her seat, 14A, companion seat, 14B. Side by side, neat as a pair of matching lies. The airline even listed both confirmation numbers, like they wanted me to know. I called customer service, keeping my voice calm and polite, the voice I use with parents who think their kid deserves an A. "Hi," I said. "I'm just a little confused about a booking under my account." The rep, cheerful and robotic, pulled it up. "Yes, Mr. Grady, I see 2 passengers on that flight to Denver. Departure was Thursday at 6:15 a.m. Denver, not Boston, not even close. And the return?" I asked. "Sunday evening, 8:40 p.m. arrival at Logan." "Perfect. Thank you," I said, and hung up. Denver, Thursday to Sunday. That lined up exactly with her PR retreat. And if there was a companion seat, it could only be one person. David, her college boyfriend, the one she'd mentioned maybe 4 times in 10 years of marriage. Always casually, always followed by a laugh. "Oh, David, he's just an old friend. We still talk on LinkedIn sometimes." Right. Just friends on LinkedIn. Friends who book matching seats and fly halfway across the country together. I didn't confront her that night, or the next. I wanted to see how she'd perform, what story she'd tell when she got back. Sunday evening, I heard the garage door open. Her suitcase wheels clicked across the tile like a countdown. She walked in, smiling, tanned, her hair lighter than before, carrying a small gift bag. "Got you something," she said, handing it to me like peace wrapped in tissue paper. I looked inside. A coffee mug, white ceramic with green mountains printed across it. The words, "Colorado Rocks." "How was Boston?" I asked, careful with my tone. Flat, curious, harmless. She smiled. "Exhausting. So many presentations. But good networking." She kissed me then. Quick, sweet, and shallow. She tasted like airport Chardonnay and mint gum. She smelled like hotel soap, not like home. "I'm going to shower," she said, already walking away. I stood there, holding the mug. It was heavy in my hand. Solid. Real. I poured some coffee into it just to see. It tasted good, actually. Smooth, expensive beans. Probably from the resort's gift shop. I wondered if David had paid for it. Or if that, too, was charged to our credit card. The airport confrontation wasn't planned. I'd intended to be mature, file for divorce through lawyers, split everything down the middle like a clean fracture. But Wednesday afternoon, Laura left her iPad on the kitchen counter. She was upstairs on a work call, and the screen lit up with a message. "David. Can't wait to see you this weekend. Same place, same place." They were going back. I checked her calendar. Friday through Sunday, marked personal time. And there it was, the return booking. Denver, Mountain View Resort, room 402, this time upgraded to a suite. Something cracked in my chest. Not my heart, more like the sound of a carefully constructed world hitting bedrock. Friday morning, I called in sick. By noon, I was on Route 95 heading to Logan Airport. Her flight landed at 5:20 p.m. I got there at 4:45, parked in short term, and waited by baggage claim with a coffee and a newspaper like some noir detective. They came through together, Laura laughing at something he said, her hand touching his arm. David looked exactly like his LinkedIn photo. Tall, white teeth. The kind of jawline that probably got him through college without trying. He wore a blazer over a t-shirt like he'd just invented Casual Friday. I folded my newspaper and walked directly toward them. Laura. She turned. Her face went through 5 stages of panic in 2 seconds. Evan, what are you— Picking up my wife, I said pleasantly. Hey Dave, great to finally meet you. I've heard nothing about you, which in retrospect was a clue. David stepped forward, all protective masculinity. Listen, man. No, you listen. I kept my voice level, conversational. Other passengers were watching now. That's my wife. We're married. 10 years. Mortgage, car payments, the whole thing. So when you book resort rooms on credit cards I co-signed for, I get notifications. Laura's face drained. You're insane. You need help. I teach physics, I said. I deal in observable reality, and I observed 2 charges from Mountain View Resort totaling $2,400. That's reality. David pushed me. Not hard, just a chest shove, the kind men do when they're performing for women. I let myself stumble back slightly, hands up. Hey, hey! Airport security appeared from nowhere. 2 officers, radios crackling. This guy's harassing us, David said immediately. I smiled at the officers. My wife and her boyfriend just flew in from Colorado. I came to welcome them home. No harassment, just facts. Laura grabbed David's arm. Let's go. He's not worth it. They walked away. Laura didn't look back. David threw me a glare over his shoulder like I was the villain in this story. I stood there while security asked me a few questions, then let me go with a warning about public disturbances. As I walked to my car, I realized I was grinning, because now I had witnesses. Now there was a security report. Now it was documented. Physics isn't about anger, it's about precision. Over the next week, I played the part of the sad husband, posted cheerful things online, self-care week, with pictures of takeout and Netflix, started selling things on Facebook Marketplace, small stuff, books, kitchen gadgets, that bread maker Laura bought during her sourdough phase. People commented with sympathy. Downsizing? One neighbor asked. Just simplifying, I replied. What I was actually doing was liquidating her stuff first. The bread maker was hers. The books were hers. The decorative pillows that cost $80 each and served no structural purpose. Definitely hers. I also researched David. Turns out he's a marketing consultant with a very active Instagram. Lots of posts about his Tesla Model S, custom blue paint, living the dream captions. The car had its own hashtag. Blue Lightning Rides. That car was his identity. People like David don't just drive cars, they become them. I spent Tuesday night in my garage with materials from Home Depot, a timer switch, a motion sensor, 3 industrial sprinkler heads, and a bulk container of biodegradable dish soap. All legal, all harmless. Wednesday at midnight, I drove to David's office building in downtown Boston. His Tesla was parked in the underground garage, spot 17, right under a sprinkler pipe. I'd seen it in his Instagram story earlier that day, geotagged. I worked fast, attached the sprinkler heads to the existing pipe with temporary clamps, rigged the motion sensor to his parking spot, connected everything to a timer and a battery pack hidden behind a structural column. The soap reservoir fed into the sprinkler line through a small pump. When David's key fob triggered the car alarm tomorrow morning, the motion sensor would activate. Sprinklers on. Soap foam everywhere. No damage to the car, no property destruction, just spectacular chaos. I was home by 2 a.m. Thursday at 8:34 a.m., my phone lit up with texts. Someone had posted a video to a local Boston Reddit page, a Tesla in a parking garage, buried under mountains of soap foam, car alarm screaming, sprinklers raining down like a divine prank. The caption, "Karma is real, folks." It went viral by noon. TikTok, Twitter, local news, mystery foam car trending. David's license plate was visible in some videos. By 3 p.m. I saw Laura's firm's website issue a statement. They'd lost a major client, some tech startup that didn't appreciate their consultant's public relations nightmare, overshadowing their product launch. Laura's firm handled crisis management. Irony. She texted me that evening, "This is harassment, Evan." I replied, "No, this is physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction." Friday night, Laura's PR firm held their annual awards gala. Black tie, expensive venue, all the people who matter in her world. I wasn't invited, officially. I wore my one good suit and showed up anyway. Walked right in, name-dropped a client I'd Googled, smiled at the door staff. They let me pass. The ballroom was all gold chandeliers and forced networking. I spotted Laura immediately, red dress, talking to her boss. She saw me. Her face went rigid. David found me first, grabbed my arm near the bar. "You think this is funny?" I looked at his hand on my sleeve, then at his face. "I think it's poetic. I build lessons around cause and effect." "You're pathetic, man. She doesn't love you. She hasn't for years." "Maybe," I said, "but she married me. That's legally binding, unlike hashtags." He shoved me backward. I didn't resist, just let momentum carry me into a waiter carrying a full tray of champagne. The waiter stumbled. The tray tipped. 8 glasses of champagne cascaded directly onto David's chest and face. The room went silent. Every phone came out. Flashes, gasps, Laura's boss staring in horror. David stood there, dripping, humiliated twice in 2 days. Laura rushed over trying to salvage it, but the damage was done. Someone was definitely filming. I straightened my tie and walked past her. She grabbed my arm. "You ruined me," she hissed. I leaned close. "You did that when you turned off location sharing." The following week, Laura moved out. She tried to claim I was abusive, filed a restraining request. I submitted my dashcam footage showing David vandalizing my car 3 days earlier, something I'd kept quiet until now. Scratches down the side, keyed paint, caught on video. The request was denied. Our lawyer meetings were cold, mechanical. She wanted half of everything. I'd already moved the savings to a separate account the day after she'd called me controlling. Perfectly legal when you suspect financial infidelity. Our lawyer confirmed it. "You planned this," she said during mediation. "I teach physics," I replied. "I respond to observable data." By month's end, her firm had let her go. Restructuring, they called it. David's company dropped him too. Turns out viral humiliation doesn't play well with corporate clients. Laura moved to Colorado. Maybe she thought distance would erase the story. But the internet doesn't forget. I sold the house, bought a smaller place near the school, started dating someone from the math department, someone who laughs at my terrible physics jokes and doesn't need a GPS to be present. 3 months after the divorce finalized, my phone buzzed. Credit card alert. Laura's card. Authorized user. Canceled. Declined transaction. Mountain View Resort and Spa. I smiled, deleted the notification, and went back to grading papers. Turns out, momentum only carries you until friction stops you cold.